Stop doing your email marketing the way you've been doing it for industrial. In 2024, there's a better method. I'm going to show you in this video. You're talking about industrial marketing at the only place that you can find the most content about industrial marketing. There's other creators out there, but they do not have as much content as we do here at MFG Tribe with our production, talking about industrial marketing, industrial sales. What do we know? We know a lot. We are the leaders in the industry when it comes to industrial marketing. It's the only thing that we focus on, the only thing. There is no plan B. This is the market that we are here to serve and dominate. If you guys are new to the content, head over to my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We have right now over 1,100 videos on my YouTube channel. It's all about things like what we're going to talk about today and everything in between, from strategy to tactics to actionable things you can do, social, email, PPC, web, SEO, video, everything, but it's all about industrial marketing. So let's get into it today. Today we're talking about what? Today we're talking about effective email marketing strategies for industrial companies. What do we know about that? Well, we know a lot because we're doing this every single day for industrial companies. Now, the markets that we serve, half of our clients have an industrial product, half of our clients have an industrial service. The products can be selling into direct to consumer, into B2B. They could be selling into other manufacturing companies, but it's some sort of technical industrial type product. And on the flip side of it, services. You're talking machine shops, injection molders, robotic companies, automation houses, material handling, material service, like everything in between from a service standpoint. And that's what we have experience doing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So if you are in one of those categories, you're in industrial marketing, either a service or a product, then you need to pay attention to this. So let's jump into the whiteboard. Number one with email, and I'm going to make an assumption that you have some sort of system in place right now. And by system, I mean a CRM system that does email marketing automation. So this could be the best system out there, in my opinion, which is HubSpot. Used to hate HubSpot years and years and years ago. Then they finally made some updates and improvements. We became a partner with them. Now we're drinking that HubSpot Kool-Aid because the stuff works. Bang for the buck, dollar for dollar, you can't beat a system like HubSpot. So whether you're using HubSpot or Pardot, Marketo, or any other system out there, you're using, like even if you're using Constant Contact and MailChimp, I know they've tried to step up their game and get more into automation, but even if you're using broadcast emails, you need to pay attention to this. But the first step is to pick that system. What system do you guys have? If you guys currently have a system, you're watching this live, put it in the comment section and we can go through it if you're running into issues. If you're like, dude, I'm on Pardot and I'm running into these issues, we can answer and provide some additional insights into that. So with our clients, they have a wide range of systems, probably about 10 to 15 current different systems right now that our team works in for their email marketing as one of the services that we provide. So we get into everything. There's ones we like, there's ones we don't like. HubSpot is the easiest and the best. And here's the cool thing about HubSpot, and I'm not trying to like sell you guys on it, but here's the cool thing. It integrates with the sales systems that a lot of industrial companies use. That's a whole separate topic, but whether you're using Dynamics 365 or Salesforce, those are really the top two. I think that those are more enterprise solutions, but we have clients right now that have 3 to 5 salespeople in Salesforce or Dynamics 365. They like them. They've built their system around it. Cool. I'm not here to change your mind on it, but HubSpot directly integrates with it. So as things happen in Salesforce, it syncs back to HubSpot. And there's a two-way sync and it's all customized and you can do whatever you want. And we set all that up so we can see everything that's happening in Salesforce in HubSpot, make some controls from there, send information over to the sales team once certain things happen to get them to follow up with those leads and generate some opportunities. But the first step, pick a system. If you guys don't have a system, you want to just play with some stuff, HubSpot for free or the starter, it's like 25, 30 bucks a month. Get in there, try it out. You can have basically unlimited number of contacts in it, but it's the best system out there. But if you guys are using something different, put it in the comment section below and let's talk about it. Number two, normally I wait till the end to give some high value stuff, but this is worth talking about. So most people are doing email marketing, like email marketing style. Most people are doing email marketing, right? What I'm here to tell you is the sequences is what is going to save your butt in 2024. What do I mean by sequences? I mean sales sequences. Everybody calls things differently, but check it out. When you do a marketing email, typical marketing systems, Pardot does marketing email, Constant Contact, MailChimp, everybody else, they do broadcast style. And MailChimp has stepped up their game. Like, oh no, you can create automations to where you send one email, then there's a delay, send another email. So marketing emails, doesn't matter the style that you're doing, whether you're doing plain text copy without the banner and all the images and stuff like that that could get flagged by spam, or you're doing plain text copy where it's just like, hey, Joe, I'm Kyle. I wanted to talk to you about this. Here's some stuff that we do. Click a link below to book some time to talk with me. That's like the plain text stuff. Or like, here's a link to some videos we did. Here's an article. Here's a white paper. Here's downloadable content, etc. The email marketing side of it is day one. Let's say they take some sort of action. There's a trigger that brings them into this funnel. Day one, they get an email. Then there's some sort of time delay. Day two, they get an email, but the two emails have two different subject lines. And then day three comes, like, let's say there's another delay, 7-day delay. Then email 3 comes out. Then a 20-day delay, email 4. But all of the emails have different subject lines. Now, I was just on a call with somebody yesterday, discovery call, talking about bringing us into their marketing, and they're having an issue with Pardot where Pardot doesn't do sales sequences. So what are they doing? Something super creative. They're trying to make the subject line look like it is a sequence, to where it is RE : and then the first email subject line. So trying to make it look like a threaded response, which is a way to kind of trick people into it, right? I've seen this for years. All of a sudden I'll get a random email from somebody that says like forward : and it's their sales pitch, or response to in the subject line and something like, and I look at it, I'm like, wait, is this the second email I've gotten on this? I don't even remember getting the first one. Now, those of you that know me inside this office know that the number of times that I pay direct attention to emails, given how many emails I get, is not the greatest. But I do come across these time to time, these random ones, right? All of my client stuff, potential client stuff, those things get flagged and filtered, and the alarms go off when I get those emails. But the spammy type stuff, I go through it like once a week, and I see these things, and I was like, they're trying to trick me into clicking. That is email marketing. Different subject lines with whatever delay you want, that does not matter, but different subject lines. Sales sequences are, you send an email with the subject line of, let's just say it's like CNC repair shop, CNC milling. And then the second email in that sales sequence uses the first email as a thread, and it creates a thread. So when you get that first email, you're like, oh, I'm not interested in this, or I'll check it out later. Then the second email comes and it's got the first email threaded into it. That is a sequence. This is what in 2024, every single person needs to be focusing on. And I'm going to tell you why. The open rate is drastically increased. The response rate is increased. But why is that, Kyle? That's because with sequences, there is no unsubscribe. Why is there no unsubscribe? Because it's not a marketing email, because it is a sales sequence, because it's a one-on-one email. Because there is no unsubscribe, the email inboxes don't know that it's a marketing email. Therefore, they're not going to grab it, put it in spam, put it in a folder, put it in junk, put it in suspect. It automatically gets delivered into the inbox because you don't have that. Now, if you go through your inbox, I guarantee you have been hit with sequences from somebody somewhere, whether they're in the US, in India, in China. It happens all day long. If anybody has ever sent you an email and it says at the bottom, reply with not interested if you want me to not follow up, that is a sequence. So years ago, before this actually happened, what did they do? There was people that were paid money to go through and copy and paste messages, change the first name. Sometimes they created some code and some script to do this automatically, but they would copy and paste messages and just reply to every email that was sent. Typically, they use somebody offshore from a labor standpoint because it's cheaper. Now, fast forward a few years, you've got sales sequences. Now, sequences have been around with HubSpot for years. It's improved drastically what you can do with it and the power behind it. This is why to do automation with sequences, it's on their enterprise platform. So just, you want that. You want to send sequences, you can do it for $500 a month with their Sales Pro license. You want to do automation, which is some stuff that we're going to get into, that's $1,000 a month, because they know that you need it, because they know that it is so powerful. So sales sequences are threaded emails. You can still do the same delays. You can still do different triggers, but it's threaded to where the first email goes through. That's the reason why your open rate is going to be so massive compared to normal email marketing, is because it's actually being delivered into their inbox. And what do I mean by massive? So typical email marketing, maybe you get 8 to 12, 13, 14% open rate. This is cold, right? So we're talking about cold contacts. Maybe you get that 8 to 12 to 14% open rate. I'm not talking about like newsletter sign up or somebody that like is a current customer. That you should get 30, 40, 50, 60% open rate. But the cold contacts, because that's what we're focused on, right? You can nurture your existing customers, which you should be doing. You sell a product, sell a service, you should be nurturing them with new things that are going on. That was what I would consider easy marketing. But where the rubber meets the road and what people care about is deals and money. That's all that really matters. Is my brand increasing and am I getting deals? So if the goal of your company is to get deals, opportunities, does not matter if you're selling a product or a service, that is the end goal of every campaign, is to make money, then you need to be bringing new people in, and you have to consider them cold. You can't just wait for somebody to like fill out a form all the time. You have to be going out to the market, grabbing people and pulling them in and hitting them up with some outbound marketing. This is what sequences are for. So if a normal email marketing to a cold contact is 8 to 14%, sales sequences are going to be about double to sometimes 2.5, 3 times the results that you would normally get. So I'm talking 20, 26, 30% open rate on a cold email sequence is ridiculous. That's insane. That does not happen. It does not matter how good your copy is. You're not going to get the initial open. You can A/B test your subject line till you're blue in the face. That is not going to affect open rate as much as them actually getting the email. So step one, most people aren't even getting the email in their inbox. This solves that. The response rate is going to increase because they actually got the email. Now we're going to go into copy later and stuff like that, but the response rate is going to increase, the reply rate is going to increase, the click rate is going to increase, the booking time, the goals, whatever your goal is going to drastically increase if you use sales sequences. We saw a trend last year in the second half. We tested out the theory. We got it to work flawlessly. We pushed it to our customers, and we started changing everybody over. Marketing emails can work for some things, but if you're going cold, if you're going outbound, sales sequences is the key. That is what's going to be the difference in 2024 for you guys. Use it while you can before somebody comes out and says, no, we've got some things out there that can sense this and we're now going to throw these people in the junk. Sales sequences is the differentiating factor for everybody. So if you're in marketing or if you're in sales, go to your marketing team and be like, dude, are we doing email marketing like different subject lines? Yes, we are. No. Kyle said you need to stop that. How do I have proof of it? I don't know. Last month, we probably sent out like 200,000 emails for our customers. Do we primarily use email marketing as a marketing agency, as a way to drive leads and engagement? It's one of the tools. It is not the primary tool. It's one of them. And we're sending out hundreds of thousands of emails a month. Like, it's ridiculous, the data that we have to support it. So sales sequences, this is the key. You have to focus on this. If you take nothing else from this video, focus on sales sequences. Number 3, let's get into the copy. You guys are making a bunch of mistakes with your copy, and it's too long. That's the main takeaway, is your copy is too long. You're trying to shove 100 pounds worth of shit in a 10-pound bag. And that's basically what it is. You just throwing marketing stuff out there with like banners and graphics, and like, here's everything we do. That's the show up and throw up type of pitching. You're going to try and just throw up all this information into a customer and expect them to be like, ooh, this looks good. I'm going to click it and engage. No, they're going to glance over it. It should not look like a Saturday Home Depot ad. It should look like it's trying to provide valuable content, short, to the point. Think about the audience that you're trying to serve. Engineers, ops, purchasing. You think if they have time to read some lengthy email and go through multiple paragraphs and look at all these images and stuff? They don't. They are just skimming. And you can see it in your CRM system. Percentage of emails skimmed, read, not looked at. Most people are skimming it. They're just scrolling through. They're looking for a couple things. So you need to shorten your copy as much as physically possible. It could just be like 6 lines of copy and a link, and keep it very direct and to the point. That is what's going to work. Now, if you have a true marketing email where you're trying to brand it and push it out there and get some people's attention around it, here's what I want you to think about. is that if they aren't downloading pictures, right? If their email system doesn't automatically download pictures, all that stuff's not even going to be shown. They have to click in Microsoft Outlook to download those images, download those pictures. Everything is coming through in somewhat plain text. The center justification also usually doesn't work, but you need to test it. If you've been doing it for a year, look at your open rate, click rate, engagement rate. Maybe with what you specifically do, this isn't bad. But still, the copy standpoint, you need to shorten it. You need to A/B test your subject lines. You need to shorten the copy as much as possible so that way you are direct and to the point. Do not tell an entire novel or a long story. You want to say, hey, here's what we got. Here's something new and exciting. If you're interested, click here. It's that simple. Shorten that copy up. Number 4. Let's get into number 4. Number 4 is going to be automation on engagement. So are you doing automation on engagement? This does not matter if it's a sequence, if it's a marketing email or anything like that. You have to have automations in place. So the cool thing with sequences is that if it's tracking responses, it knows, like HubSpot knows that your goal for this sequence is to get an RFQ, book time, fill out a form. It already knows that. So everything's already set up in the environment to say, the goal is what? Which link do you want me to track? Also, the cool thing about sequences with HubSpot is if your sales team, whether they're using Salesforce, Dynamics 365, whatever, to do their sales tracking in their deal stages in their pipeline, everything can be copied over to HubSpot. So we're copying that information over. Ideally, they're using natively in HubSpot, but even if they're not, you copy it over. The cool thing about sequences is it's going to look at those deals. It's going to say, hey, this person clicked, they responded, they booked time, they filled out a form, they completed the goal, and they also have a deal attached to them. And then when that deal closes, it throws it back into the report just natively. That's how sequences are set up, because it knows for a fact that what you're trying to do is make money. So if what you're trying to do is make money, it has to come from a deal. I mean, that's what's great about it. But with the automation, the cool thing about sequences is if somebody replies to an email in a sequence, it pauses the sequence. And that is an issue with marketing emails. They get the first email, something happens. Let's say you have a 10-day delay, a 15-day delay. They replied to it. The email came from a salesperson. It came from Steve at your company. And he got a response, but Steve wasn't paying attention to his inbox, right? Steve's sleeping on the job. And he's not paying attention to his inbox. And then finally he sees it and he replies directly back to that person. They set up a time to talk, whatever. And what happens? He doesn't go into HubSpot to unenroll them from the sequence. And he also doesn't tell marketing that he got a response. Now you're going to be like, oh, but can't you track that? You can kind of. You can track responses in HubSpot and then have a workflow that says if they replied to this email, then pull them out of this workflow. But it's so complicated and convoluted that if you just did a sales sequence, it says they replied, pause the sequence. And then from there, if their response was like, hey, thanks for sending this over. I don't really have time to look at it right now, but I'll keep it in mind in the future. Then you as a salesperson or you in marketing can say, I'm gonna unpause that sequence and let it roll out. The other cool thing about sequences is that from an automation standpoint, you can set up multiple triggers and multiple steps to be taken. So with automation on it, you can say step 1 is an email. And maybe it's somebody super cold, so you want to send 3 emails. This is like a typical cold sequence for us. So you send 3 emails, 1, 2, 3. Then from there, based on their engagement, you're going to then have a task that says, let's say it's phone call. So step 4 is a phone call. Then from there, maybe then step 5, after that phone call is logged, then it goes back to an email. Then maybe step 6 is LinkedIn. But it's all based on engagement. You have to have the automation set up. So with sequences, you can have it automatically. This is my sequence, 3 emails. Then it's going to trigger the salesperson with a task to call the person. Then the sequence is going to pause. Once that task is completed on that call, then it's going to resume the sequence. It's going to send email number 4. That's step 5. Then once that email gets sent, then it's going to schedule another task for the person to send a LinkedIn connection request. Then after that, I mean, you can have this thing go on forever. You can have it go on for like the entire year. just one cold sequence. But having the automation based on engagement, this is where you're going to be able to pull people out of one funnel and into another one. So let's say you sent those 3 emails, they never opened them, never clicked, never did anything. If that happens, you do not want your salesperson necessarily calling them because they're not even engaged. If your salespeople are busy, which they should be, doing deals, quoting people, having conversations, taking somebody completely cold that's never done anything and telling them to call them is less effective. So let's say they go 3 emails, no open, no click, no response rate. Then you have automation that says, pause that, throw them into this workflow that's going to put them into a long-term nurture. So it's an email once every couple of months, sending some articles, sending some videos, sending some new stuff. Then from there, once they get done with that, then maybe you throw them back into a different sequence, like a nurture sequence. Now, just like I've said before, if you're trying to email market to somebody and they don't engage, that doesn't mean that they aren't interested. It means that they didn't see it. And so if they didn't see it, find another method, another way to get a hold of them. The phone is one, LinkedIn is the other. Just send them a connection request on LinkedIn. So you go from one cold sequence with 3 emails, drop that, throw them into a different sequence that's scheduling tasks. So no engagement, workflow then takes them out of that sequence, puts them into a different sequence that's going on the sales side. If this is how your team is set up, where your salespeople are doing a lot of outbound. Now, if your team is set up to where your sales team only engages with MQLs, marketing qualified leads, so marketing does something, somebody raises their hand, says, yes, I'm interested in talking, yes, I want to quote on that equipment, that service, etc. Then from there, they're only going to talk to MQLs, and it's up to them to convert them into an SQL, a sales qualified lead. But so you're doing more automation up front. You're not going to rely on the salesperson to send a LinkedIn connection request. You're not going to rely on them to make a phone call or send a video or anything like that. You're just doing automation. So maybe your sequence for them is 5 emails based on engagement, then they go down another path. But you have to base it off of engagement. You can't just keep throwing darts at the wall, seeing what's going to stick, and then waiting for somebody to respond. That's going to mess with your open rate, your click rate, your send rate. You're going to possibly have some issues with bouncing. You're possibly going to get some unsubscribes if you're going heavy on the marketing side of email, which is going to put your domain in jeopardy, and then nobody's going to be getting your emails. So try and do it based on engagement. I'm 100% fan of saying, I'm going to grab this group of people that don't know me, put them into a sequence, and drip them out over time. That is what works. It doesn't matter what business you're in. That is what works, unless you're on like the retail, direct to consumer, B2C type stuff. But that is where you have to drip it out. It works, but you have to then take more action based on the engagement. So you better have triggers set up. Open, click, website visit, downloaded some content, didn't do anything. What are you going to do with those people that did nothing? Put them into something else. Don't just let them fall at the bottom, because what's going to happen is a month or two, they're going to come back and be like, we brought in like 5,000 people. What happened to them? Oh, here's 3,000 people that they haven't gotten anything in like 6 months. Well, why not? Well, because you didn't have automation based on engagement to throw them into another campaign. So when you're building out your email marketing automation system, you have to be thinking about all of the different scenarios. What happens if they reply? What happens if they go to the website? What happens if they click a form, book time? What happens if they download some content? What happens if they don't respond? What happens if they say, I want to unsubscribe? Put all of those verticals in there and say, I need a solution to every single situation. And after all of that's said and done, what happens with those people? They go into different workflows. So you have to build it all out. The last one, number 5, we'll put it right slap dab in the middle, is going to be contacts. You need to be pulling new contacts in. I don't know how many times I've talked to industrial companies. I'm like, what's your like, how are you guys going after people? They're like, well, we've got, some subscribers, and we got some newsletter people. We got stuff that we've done from trade shows from years ago and stuff like that. I'm like, all right, what's the list look like? They're like, 5,000, 7,000, 20,000 people. Okay. Are these contacts even good? Have you run them through something like Never Bounce or Unbounce to see, are these emails even valid? Well, we haven't marketed to them in a while. Okay. You need some new contacts, and a lot of them. Depending on what it is that you sell and market, you need a lot of new contacts. And that is the only way that you're going to drive leads. I'm literally in the process of writing a proposal right now for a company where the main goal is for new opportunities, new leads, lead gen. But if you don't have new contacts to go after, what are you doing? Are you waiting? Then you're waiting. Because if somebody's like, oh, we're going to run a PPC search campaign, and when they search, then you're going to show up, and you're going to compete with everybody else, and they're going to go to the website and do all this stuff. Okay, you're waiting for them to search. I don't have patience to wait. While that can be a vertical or a pillar in your strategy to say when they do search, I want to show up. Okay, there's a lot of dollars you're throwing in that. You're talking $2, $5, $10, $20,000 a month on search, depending on what it is that you're going after, to get in front of them there. Whereas I would rather just like grab them by the collar and say, yo, let's talk. So it's done through email, phone, social, web, trade show. Like it's done through everything. But if you need to grab those new contacts, you need to go out there, use an agency like ours to do it. If you don't have the resources yourself, we'll do it for you. We'll build that list of contacts. I want uh, upper management or management level engineers at these types of companies in this industry, at this size, in this geographic location. Show me what you got. We go through our system that we have our subscriptions to. We pull a list. I'm like, hey, I've got 2,600 companies that match that, and I've got, let's say, 1,800 people that have high quality contact scores. I'm not buying this list from a third party. I'm farming and hunting the list myself with real-time data. Then we take that information, get that list together, put them into a marketing automation system, segment it out, and put them into sequences, workflows, all of that stuff. But you have to do it with new contacts. What's the best system out there for contacts? There's tons. The ones that I like the most right now, ZoomInfo will always be number one for me because they have the most accurate data. Now, how many contacts you purchase, the subscription level you have, all of those things, that depends on the situation. For us, though, they have the best filters. Everybody's copying them. Like they've been around since 07. I've been using them since 2015. I built my company off of an initial ZoomInfo license back in 2015 by copying people's contact information and then marketing to them to get them as clients when I first started this agency 8 years ago. They are the best. They're the OGs. I think that they are worth a look, but don't sign up for too much because there's some BS out there about some of the things that they do. I disagree with some of their other programs and softwares that you could buy. I don't think it's the best use of your dollars in industrial, but ZoomInfo is one. Seamless AI is number two. I mean, Seamless AI is cheaper, uses AI, also works with ZoomInfo's list. They, instead of having a team of people that are going through the data, they use AI technology to do it. That's something that's good. There's Lucia. Lucia's pretty good. You got the little Chrome extension. You can search people on LinkedIn, all that stuff. You got, what is the other one? Apollo AI or Apollo.io. Theirs isn't bad too. Like there's tons out there. Just pick with one of the top 3 or 4 out there. That's how you have to build your list. If you don't have the time or the patience or the money to do it, just hire us. We'll do it for you. We'll manage the entire system, but you got to get new contacts. Do not wait. Take time out of the equation. It's all about speed to market. It's all about speed to getting in front of your people that you're trying to go after because the competition is already there. And if you're trying to change your brand perception, if you're trying to increase market share, if you're trying to get deals right now, you have to aggressively go after them. This is the best way to do it right now, along with a couple other pillars. But if you're trying to do it for the most cost-effective solution, build a list, get them on email, drive engagement, then based on that engagement, do other actions in your sequences. So if you guys got value out of this content, share it with someone that you know. Head over to the YouTube channel and subscribe and turn on notifications. It helps Laura's metrics that she has to report on every single week for her team. Watch time, subscribers, engagement, all that stuff. So you'd be helping her out, the behind-the-scenes leader of the MFG Tribe marketing team. We will see you on the next one.